Okay. I knew it was on.
Recording in
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat. Shabbat. Excuse me. Shabbat Shalom. This is Mikael Eric Harris, better known as the Juice, also known as the Alkaline Water Guy. How's everyone doing this beautiful evening? Um, this is the Sabbath, which is the Assembly of the Righteous. We're here every Sabbath from 12 until we're done. And we're in part two. This is part two of Assembly of the Righteous. And today's information is David made king. This is David made king. And I come to realize, I don't know how this happened, that my Instagram didn't record part one. My Instagram did not record part one, and I don't see how. I'm sitting up here looking at it, I'm looking at it, look like it's recording. But when I pushed the record button, I guess that one stayed, and I didn't realize how. I didn't see it wasn't running or rolling. Matter of fact, yep. Make sure because we're recording on Zoom, everybody's recording. So part one on Instagram is not there. So Instagram is empty on part one for now, but this is beginning of part two. And don't forget, this is our first week into the second book of Samuel. This is the second book of Samuel, which is we finished the first book last week when we were speaking of David, or shall I say the death of Saul. And I shared that in part one as well as last week. But also in part one, I might as well give a little synopsis about what happened in part one up to this point. In part one, because since Instagram didn't pick it up, in part one, in chapter two, chapter one of Second Samuel, um, David ended up finding out that Saul is dead. This guy and the Amalekites, who David just got through, went and slaughtering for burning up their city, for burning up the city of Ziklag and taking all their people. David and his men went and killed all those men and had enough riches in order to disperse throughout their country to all their friends. And I also shared that when you find out a person that's negative, they are the people of the devil in any type of way. If you're speaking negative, if you're negative, you don't want to help your own and things like that, you're the devil or Belial. And you'll see that in the stories as well. So a lot of people don't understand when they speak of devil, they don't understand that Belial, devil, or however they want to call it, it's just being of a negative spirit, of a negative mindset. That's mainly it. So you'll see that in the stories as well. But other than that, giving a synopsis of chapter one, which Instagram don't have. A young man, which was an Amalekite, which lied because Saul fell upon his own sword and killed himself. His armor bearer did as well in last week's information, uh, which was the death of Saul. But this young man, an Amalekite, just lied and said that he killed Saul because Saul told him to kill him. And then David take care of stuff right on the spot. And let me read that to you real quick in 2 Samuel chapter 1. And we're going to go over here we'll start over here, verse 13 down to 16. 13 to 16, I'm going to read that for the moment. It says, and David said unto the young man that told him, whence art thou come? Now first let me ask this. Over here, we're going to go from 4. We're going to go to 4 to... We're going to go to 4 to 8 or 9, and then from 13 to 16. So verse 4 says, and David said unto him, how went the matter? Because he seen a young man that was running, and he gave obstinance unto David, he bowed to David. And And David said unto him, how went the matter? I pray thee, tell me. And he answered that the people are fled from the battle, and many of the people are fallen and dead. And Saul and Jonathan, his son, are dead also. Verse 5. And David said unto the young man that told him, how knewest that thou Saul and Jonathan, his son, be dead? How do you know this? Right? Check this out. Say, how knowest thou Saul and Jonathan, his son, be dead? And the young man that told him said, as I happened by chance upon Mount Gilboa, behold, Saul leaned upon his spear, and lo, the chariots and horsemen follow hard after him. And when he looked behind him, he saw me and called unto me, and I answered, here I am. And he said unto me, who art thou? And I answered him, I am an Amalekite. Right? So he's an Amalekite. David and them just got through slaughtering the Amalekites a few moments ago, right? So he said unto me, verse 9, and he said unto me again, stand, I pray thee upon me and slay me, for anguish is come upon me, because of my life is yet whole in me. So he lied and said that Saul told him to kill him. But when you go to the last part of chapter 1, the last part of 1 Samuel, you'll see that Saul killed himself. So down here, verse 13, it says, and David said unto the young man that told him, whence art thou? And he answered, I am the son of a stranger, an Amalekite, a stranger, meaning of a strange nation. I am the son of a strange nation, which is an Amalekite. That's what he was saying. And David said unto him, how wast thou not afraid to stretch forth thy hand and to destroy Yah's anointed? And David called one of the young men and said, go near and fall upon him, and he smote him that he died. And David said unto him, this is the key right here. Thy blood be upon thy head, for thy mouth has testified against thee, saying, I have slain Yah's anointed. You see that right there? Watch what your mouth won't get you into. A lot of people need to understand the reason why they get into things is because of their mouth. A lot of people mouth put themselves in a position they don't understand. And then from this point on, I call this, it says, David laments over Saul and Jonathan. But I call this David first Psalms. David's first Psalms, right? From 17 to 27. From verse 17 to 27, to me, that's David's first Psalm. This first time David made a psalm and what he said about Saul and, and how he was. He just gave him a psalm. So, in Instagram, you don't have part 1, but you always can find it on YouTube, Juice Pro 33, Facebook, Mikael Harris, M-I''CHAEL, space Harris, and Juice Pro 33 is all together, JUICEPRO 33, and also you'll see the long version on X, Twitter, Patreon, and Rumble.com. And I share that at the end of the information every day. Every time I come on. So now, we in 2 Samuel chapter 2. 2 Samuel chapter 2, and this is David made king over Judah. That's was my heading, but the name of the information today is David made king. This is where we are. Now, make sure everybody's running. Good, everybody's running. Chapter 2. David made king over Judah. And it came to pass after this that David inquired of Yah, saying, you see what he always do? He always inquired of the Creator. And it came to pass after this that David inquired of Yah, saying, shall I go up into any of the cities of Judah? And Yah said unto him, go up. And David said, whether shall I go up? Now you see this? You see how David get confirmation? He asked first, shall I go up to the cities of Judea, Yehuda? That's one. First he asked, shall I go up? And Yah said unto him, go up. And David said, whether shall I go up? Now he said, where shall I go? He wants to know details. And he said unto Hebron. That's where the Creator had him go. Now, how he told him? He told him either through Urim, prophet, or dreams. That's what Saul was trying to get in contact with the Creator, and none of them answered. Verse 2. Oh, this is on point. And David said, where shall I go up? He said, up to Hebron. Verse 2. So David went up and thither, and his two wives also, and his two wives. Ahinoam, no Ahag, and the Israelites. I recognized this last week. The place that you stay, the place that you live at, that's an inheritance for you, whether you know that or not. Your place that you were born, that you're part of the land there, I'm a Michiganian. A Michigandian. That's me. I'm from Michigan, born and raised. Well, born and raised, and then I left and came back. And Abigail, Nabal's wife, the Carmelite. That is very important. People need to know. They say these for a reason, but you have to catch on. Verse 3, and his men that were with him did David bring up, every man with his household, and they dwelt in the cities of Hebron. Remember, the last city was destroyed. See how everything is falling in place? One thing was destroyed for him to move to the next place and space. And they dwelt in all thy dwellings. And they dwelt in the cities of Hebron. Verse 4. And the men of Judah came. Okay. Every man with his household, and they dwelt in Hebron. Okay, I just leave it like that for now. Verse 4. And the men of Judah came, and there they anointed David. Okay, here we go. And they anointed David king over the house of Judah. And they told David, saying that the men of Yabesh Gilead were they that burned Saul. So these are the men, they went and got Saul's body. It wasn't David and them. See, when they cut Saul's head off and took his body and his armament and put his armament in one house and put his body up in another house, and it was publishing his head around the Philistines, the men went and got Saul's body. I gotta make sure I get that first, but I gotta get this anointing first. And the men that were with him did David bring up every man with his household, and they dwelt in the cities of Hebron. Verse 4. And the men of Judah came, and there they anointed David king over the house of Judah, and they told David, saying that the men of Jabesh Gilead were where they had buried Saul. That the men of Jabesh Gilead, were they that buried Saul. Were they that buried Saul? And David sent messengers unto the men of Jabesh Gilead, and said unto them, Blessed be ye of Yah, that ye have showed his kindness unto your Lord. Oh, yeah. And David sent messengers unto the men of Jabesh Gilead, and said unto them, Blessed be ye of Yah, that ye have showed kindness unto your Lord, even unto Saul, and have buried him. See that? They took the action. No matter what, they took the action and still buried him. Verse 6. And now Yah show kindness and truth unto you, and I also will require you this kindness, because ye have done this thing. Therefore now let your hands be strengthened, and be ye valiant, for your master Saul is dead. Notice how he's hearing your master, right? And also the house of Judah have anointed me king over them. There we go. David fights against the house of Saul. All right. Now we're in verse 8. Now David fights against the house of Saul. All right, let's see what happens here. We get ready to get into some nitty gritty now, y'all. David fights against the house of Saul. Verse 8. But Abner, the son of Ner, captain of Saul's host, took Ishbosheth, the son of Saul, and brought him over to Man. So Abner, the son of Ner, the captain of Saul's host, took Ishbosheth, the son of Saul, and brought him over to Mahanaim, and made him king over Gilead. And over the Ushrite, and not tights, well, whatever. And over Yisrael, and over Ephraim, and over Benjamin, and over all Israel. So he wanted to be slick. Well, I can't say he wanted to be slick. He didn't know the process. He didn't know the process or the progress. Remember, Abner was supposed to be the chief, the man under Saul. So he felt that he had power to do what he did. And I can see and understand that, because he didn't know the Creator's But he also seen how David could have killed Saul, but David didn't. Right? Verse 10, let me go here now. Verse 10. Let's see where we at now. Verse 10. Ishbosheth, Saul's son, was 40 years old when he began to reign. So he's supposed to be reigning in Saul's stead. Let me get that. But the house of Judah followed David. You see that? So he was king over Judah. David was. So every nation, but every tribe had their own, you could say, nation in their place. Just like Michigan, and you got Ohio, then you got Michigan, Ohio, Mississippi, and Georgia. You know, places inside of these certain places, right? But Judah, the house of Judah, followed David. And the time that David was king in Hebron over the house of Judah was 7 years. And the time that David was king over Hebron, in Hebron, shall I say, over the house of Judah was 7 years and 6 months. 7 years and 6 months. 12. And Abner, the son of Ner, and the servants of Ishbosheth, the son of Saul, went out from Mahanaim to Gibeon. And Joab, the son of, there you go, Joab. He's second time I haven't seen his name. The son of Zeruiah, and the servants of David. And Joab, the son of Zeruiah, and the servants of David went out and met together by the pool of Gibeon. And they sat down, the one on one side and of the pool, and the other on the other side of the pool. And Abner said unto Joab, okay, a meeting of the minds is coming together. And Abner the son of Ner and his servants Ishbosheth and the son of Saul went out from Maham to Gibeon. Okay, they went out to Gibeon. And Joab, the son of Zeruiah, and the servants of David went out to meet together by the pool. Okay, they meet them by the pool of Gibeon. Okay, they both went out to Gibeon. Right? And they sat down on one side, right? They sat down on one side of the pool and the other on the other side of the pool. And Abner said to Joab, let the young men now arise and play before us. And Joab said, let them arise. Okay. Let them go up arise, go play or whatever. Then there arose and went over by number 12 of Benjamin, which pertained to Ishbosheth, the son of Saul. Then went over by number 12 of Benjamin, which pertained to Ishbosheth, the son of Saul, and 12 of the servants of David. 16. And they caught every one his fellow by the hand, and thrust his sword in his fellow's side. So they fell down together, wherefore that place was called Helkath, Hazurum, called Helkath Hazurum, which was in Gibeon. So they let them go play. I guess they all set up and they said, okay, let them go out there and do what they're going to do. I guess play is fighting. He said, let them go play. Mm-hmm. So both of them was the captain. Joab was the captain of one thing. Abner was the captain of another. He was still captain because there were two other kings. And they caught okay. Verse 17. And there was a very sore battle that day. And Abner was beaten and the men of Israel before the servants of David. And there was very sore battle that day. And Abner was beaten. And the men of Israel before the servants of David. Oh, they were they were Israel, was being before the servants of David. And there were three sons of Zeruiah there. There were three sons of Zeruiah there, which was who? There, Joab and Abishai or Abishaiah and Asahel. And Asahel was a light of foot as a wild roe. Asahel was as light of foot as a wild roe. I mean, he was fast. And Asahel pursued after Abner, and in going he turned not to the right hand nor to the left from following Abner. Okay. All right. Then Abner took behind him and said, Art thou Asahel? And he said, I am. And Abner said unto him, Turn thee aside to thy right hand or to thy left. See? And Abner said unto him, Turn thee aside to thy right hand or to thy left, and lay thee hold one of the young men, and take thee and his armor. But Asahel would not turn aside from following him. He said, Go to one of them. Don't come by me. And Abner said again to Asahel, Turn thee aside from following me. Wherefore should I smite thee to the ground? To the ground. How then should I hold up my face to Joab, thy brother? See there? Okay. Okay. See, don't come near me. So they're out there fighting. They're trying to gain who's going to try to see who's going to get the kingdom. Matter of fact, I don't even think David had anything to do with it. Abner and Joab came together. They came together to sit down, I guess, to have a discussion. You know how men discuss. We don't have to talk. We're gonna do what we got to do to show what's going to happen. So, 12 men on this side, 12 men, all 12 of them killed each other off. So that means that they was even in battle. They was even in battle. So now Asahel, which was a brother of Joab, and I think they had respect for each other because they was Israel. All of them was Israel. They probably was amongst each other. Joab was probably with David at the time because he was with his men. Abner was who he were. He was the one in charge under Saul. You know, people don't want to lose their rank. And they don't want to give up nothing on their own. Sometimes somebody have to take something from you, but you don't want to give nothing up on your own. So Abner told Asahel, he told, man, go on. Go to the right side. Go at one of them other guys. Don't come near me because I want to smite you to the ground. What am I going to say to your brother Joab? And howbeit he refused to turn aside. Wherefore Abner, with the hinder end of his spear, smote him under the fifth rib. See, he's an expert. Well, I'm say expert, but he was a Abner. He was a general. He was somebody that was good with the in war. I'm just gonna say that he was good in war. So he said, "Go on, man. I don't want to kill you, man. Go to one of the other brothers, because what am I? You want to your ass brother. What am I gonna say to him? Howbeit he refused to turn." Verse 23. Howbeit he refused to turn aside. Wherefore Abner with the hinder end of the spear smote the hinder end of the spear, smote him under the fifth rib, that the spear came out behind him, and hit him under the fifth rib and came out. And he fell down there and died in the same place. And it came to pass that as many as came to this place, to the place where Ashahel fell down and died, stood still. They came there and they stood there like, man, they see who it was and stood still. They couldn't believe what happened. Joab also and Abishai pursued after Abner. Now they coming after Abner. Joab and Abishai pursued after Abner. And the sun went down when they were come to the hill. The sun went down. I keep trying to get people to understand. This is not the night. This is after the evening. When they were come to the hill of Ammah, hill of Ammah, that lieth before Giah, Giah, Giah or Giah, by the way of the wilderness of Gibeon. And the children of Benjamin gathered themselves together after Abner and became one troop and stood on the top of the hill. Okay. The children of Benjamin gathered themselves together after Abner and became one troop and stood on top of a hill. 26. Then Abner called to Joab. Then Abner called to Joab and said, shall the sword devour forever? Okay. Knowest thou not that it will be bitterness in the latter end? How long shall it be then ere thou bid the people return from following their brethren? Say this again. This is Abner speaking now. You never know what you're going to get into when you get into a situation like this. You're trying to come for peace, something end up happening, but the peace you set up, if you're coming for war, it's war all the way around. So you have to look at that. They came to sit down, to squabble things, or to sit down and say, okay, we're going to see what's going to happen. So they sent 12 men out. Y'all go out there and whoever play, whoever fight, and whoever win, I guess they win. All 12 of them passed. They killed each other, all 24 of them, should I say. So now Joab and both his brothers there, and Abner, him and a few other people, because it was more than that, just 12 and 12. I guess they took 12 of their best young men and 12 of their best young men. Got out there and all of them killed each other. Because they was all good. You know. Now we at 26. And Abner called Joab and said, shall the sword devour forever? Shall the sword devour forever? Knowest thou not that it will be bitterness in the latter end? How long shall it be then, ere thou bid the people return from following their brethren? Somebody forbid the people to return from following their brethren, which is stop following us. And Joab said, as Yah liveth, unless thou hadst spoken, surely then in the morning the people had gone up, everyone from following his brother. Then Joab said this. I'm going to use here. Do you have oranges? Oh, no. Well, this money went dry. I'll throw you away. Here we go. And Joab said, as Yah liveth, unless thou hast spoken, surely then in the morning the people had gone up, everyone from following his brother. Meaning you shouldn't have said nothing. It would sound like he's saying. And Joab said, as Yah liveth, unless thou hadst spoken, unless you had spoken, well, that's one way or the other. Surely then in the morning the people had gone up, everyone from following his brother. So Joab blew the trumpet, and all the people stood still and pursued after Israel. Okay, so what he's saying, if you didn't say nothing, we'll still be coming after you. So if you hadn't said nothing, we'd still been coming. So Joab blew the trumpet. And all the people stood still and pursued after Israel no more. Neither fought they anymore. They didn't fight no more after this. What they was coming for anyway. But who initiated the fight? Abner said to Joab, let the young men play. See, it was Abner's fault. And Joab said, let the young men now rise. Y'all go ahead on. Y'all go out there and fight. But Abner started it. See, if he hadn't opened his mouth like that, it wouldn't have happened. Verse 14. This is the reason why that happened. And Joab just said, let them rise. Because they didn't have to go that way. All I had to do is sit down and say, okay, whatever. It could have sat down with an agreement, okay, you handle your business. You know, we are still Israel. If you want him to be king over there, they're anointed king over David king over here. And it could, but Abner started that. Abner said unto Joab, let the young men now arise and play before us. That's his fault. And Joab said, let him arise. He just said, okay. You started it, I'm not going to back down. If Joab would have said, no, I don't want him to fight. We don't need to lose Israel today or something like that. He could have said that. But both of them are men of war. They weren't thinking of brotherhood. Now, David probably would have said, no, we're brothers. David probably would have said that. That's my assumption. Verse 29. And Abner and his men walked all that night through the plain and passed over Jordan and went through Bithron, and they came to Mahanaim, back to where they was at. Bithron. All Bithron, and they came to Mahanaim. And Joab returned from following after Abner. And Joab returned from following after Abner. And when he had gathered all the people together, there lacked of David's servants 19 men okay. See, I don't think David knew about it. So 19 men passed out of David's host. and Ashil. So it was 20 men gone. 19 men and Ashil. Ahashil. Ashahil. Ashahil, I guess. They're like 19 men. They're like of David's servants, 19 men. You should have been more responsible, Joab. Should have been more responsible. But the servants of David had smitten of Benjamin and of Abner's men, so that 300 men, whoa. But the servants of David had smitten of Benjamin and of Abner's men, so that 300 men died. And they took up a hill and buried him in the sepulchre of his father, which was in Bethlehem. And Joab and his men went all night, and they came to Hebron at break of day. You see all that was going on that night? See the difference between night and day? At break of day. Hebron. This was going on at night. Now this all started when? They sat down and went inside. Okay. Son was 40 years old when he began to reign over it. Reigned 2 years, but the house of Judah followed David over Israel and reigned 2 years. Ishbosheth, whatever, Saul's son, was 40 years old when he began to reign over Israel and reigned. This is verse 10. Reigned 2 years, but the house of Judah followed David. And the time that David was king in Hebron over the house of Judah was 7 years and 6 months. And the time that David was king in Hebron. I'll turn you, I'm over here doing so y'all can see. And Abner the son of Ner and the servants of Ishbosheth the son of Saul went out from Mahanaim to Gibeon. A son of Ner, and the servant of Ishbosheth, the son of Saul, went out from Mahanaim to Gibeon. And Joab, the son of Zeruiah, okay, I'm getting better at it, and the servants of David went out to meet together by the pool of Gibeon, and they sat down one on this side of the pool and the other on that side of the pool. So they sat down across from each other. And Abner said unto Joab, let the young men now arise and play before us. And Joab said, let them arise. And there arose and went over by number 12 Benjamites, which pertained to Ishbosheth, the son of Saul, and 12 of the servants of David. And they caught every one his fellow by the head. And they caught every one his fellow by the head, and thrust his sword in his fellow's side. So they fell down together, wherefore that place was called Helkath Hazurim, which is in Gibeon. And that was a very sore battle that day. And Abner was beaten, and the men of Israel before the servants. Yeah. So they was beaten because I'm still kind of get and see about what time this was. So I thought it was a certain time. I thought it was like a daylight or as the sun was going down. Thought I he was fast. Ashahil. Kept trying to warn him. So I'm just going over this, showing certain parts. And Ashahel pursued after Abner, and going turned not to the right hand or to the left. Then Abner looked behind him and said, Art thou Ashahel? And he answered, I am. And Abner said unto him, Turn ye aside to the right hand or to the left, and lay thee hold one of the young men, and take thee his armor. But Ashahel would not turn aside from following him. And Abner said again, Ashahel, turn aside from following me. Wherefore should I smite thee to the ground? How then shall I hold up my face to Joab, thy brother? Howbeit he refused to turn aside. Wherefore Abner with the hinder end of his spear smote him under his fifth rib, that the spear came out behind him. Tried to tell him. And he fell down there and died in the same place. And it came to pass that as many as came to the place where Ashahel fell down and died stood still. It said that he stood still. Joab and Abishai pursued after Abner, and the sun went down. Okay, right here, and the sun went down. There you go. Now that was during the day. Now the sun went down right here. I just want to make sure I get this point. And the sun went down when they will come to the hill of Almah, that lieth before Giah, by the way of the wilderness in Gibeon. And the children of Benjamin gathered themselves together after Abner, and became one troop, and stood on top of the hill. Then Abner called to Joab. Listen now. Well, you got to open your. People want the big fish, not realize the big fish may be too big for you. You might get swallowed up. Abner was too big for that young man. He was fast, but he was no match for Abner. So, as we can see at this point, as we can see, your mouth will get you in trouble, and you don't mess with nothing no bigger than you know you can't deal with. Fight your battles. Pick your battles. Abner knew he was going to kill him. But you want to come, you think you're fast. You think you're young and agile. Abner is old and experienced. That's what's wrong with the difference with these young men who has agility and they think they're strong. But when you got experience, you can take that young man and whoop them with the experience you have. Because they don't know what you know. They're going to put themselves in the trick bag. That's what just happened here. Excuse me. So, Abner didn't want to kill him, but he had to. Then Abner went up on the field, up on the mountain, and said, listen, when this is going to be going on, it ain't going to be right. So, we see what happened here. Yeah, we're gonna stop it here because I'll be going on. I'm gonna just hit those 2 chapters real quick for the day. Joab kills Abner. He ain't forgot about you killing his brother, but his brother. This is the reason why. See, I get stuff is coming back to me. I'm reading it for myself now. He killed Abner. I'm looking at this. I'm going to just jump and see the heading. And he killed Abner. So I'm seeing he killed Abner because Abner killed his brother. But his brother was at fault. And you got to understand that. When people are at fault, y'all got to be just in the things y'all do. Some people say, I don't care if he was wrong. I'm still going to do this and that. Don't y'all see the examples here in the scriptures? The examples is right here giving you the understanding of how to deal with people. If somebody is wrong, that's their fault. Abner kept telling him, don't come my way, go somewhere else now. You know, how am I going to see Joab? How am I going to see your brother if I kill you? Man, go on, man, because you put me in a position I don't want to be in. But people don't like to listen. If you don't listen, there's nothing you can do. So then you just got to be on the lookout because you're in the position that someone put you in before you had to get rid of them. Now, if anything, I'd have wounded them. Now, I'd have wounded them because, and then I'd have told Joab, listen, man, your brother kept doing this and whatever. And then, if his brother gonna be, if Joab gonna still try to get with me after that, I'll say, next time I see him, I don't have to tell him. But next time he come on me like that, he dead. I done warned him. I done warned you. I done told you you ain't gonna straighten him out. He want. No, what else you gonna do? So it's the end of part 2, chapter 2, and David made king. It's a lot of things going on here, y'all. A lot of things going on. But you got to see things for what they are, and examples are right here in the scriptures if you ain't paying attention. Other than that, as we can see what all happened here, everybody should have a good understanding of what didn't happen, as we can see. Other than that, I will share with you this, that I am that Mikael in Daniel chapter 12, verses 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's me, showing the holy people who they're really supposed to be. Waking them out of their dead beds, which is really in their heads. Excuse me. Also, I'm that same Mikael in Revelations 12, battling that red dragon where Satan dwelled, who deceiveth the whole world but prevaileth not, because the horn is blown without a doubt. This was prophesied for you to see, that Mikael is really me. Other than that, I really appreciate love everyone that comes through when they do, and sees the information, and maybe that's getting something out of it as I'm sharing. A lot of times you may see something that you may get out of it that I may have not brought up at this point in time. But other than that, just be thankful that the Creator is opening our eyes, letting us see certain things as we walk and grow through His Word. Other than that, what we're going to do first, we get ready to do our benediction, which is what the Creator gave unto the priest to put upon the people. Right here. Thank you, Father. So, we're going to do the benediction, and then we're going to do the Shema. Then we're going to give you the information on our way out. So, other than that, the priestly benediction, which is at the end of chapter 6, verse 22 through 27 in Numbers chapter 6. And the priestly benediction states, and Yah spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto Aaron and unto his son, saying, on this wise ye shall bless the children of Israel, and say unto them, saying unto them, Yah bless thee and keep thee. Yah make his face shine upon thee, and be gracious unto thee. Yah lift up thy countenance upon thee, and give thee peace. And they shall put Yah's name upon the children of Israel, and I will bless them. Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shekebo, Bakuto Violam, Vahid. Hallelujah. Hear, O Israel, Yah our Father is one Father. Blessed be thy glorious kingdom forever and ever. Hallelujah. Praise you, bless you, and thank you, Almighty, for your word, your spirit, your beautiful Shabbat, and just your holy name. Your holy word we pray. Hallelujah. 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 Thank you, Father. Other than that, if you'd like to get in contact with me, you can always call or text me at 770-572-5315. That's 770-572-5315. And you can always email me at lkhyym@gmail.com. That's lkhyym@gmail.com. I'm about to get my rest on, y'all, as soon as I get done. But other than that, you can always check me on YouTube and X, formerly known as Twitter, which I like to say X Twitter. You can catch me on YouTube and X Twitter at JuicePro33. That's JuicePro33. JuicePro33. Put that in your search engine in YouTube. Please like, subscribe, and share. And you also catch me on X, formerly known as Twitter, as well with JuicePro33. Now you can also catch me on TikTok and Instagram. My TikTok and Instagram is Lakaim _ the Juice. LK, which is spelled LKHYYM _ THEJUICE. That's LKHYYM _ THEJUICE. Also, my other TikTok, because that was my Instagram, my TikTok, my other TikTok is Michael the Juice Harris, which is MICHAELTHEJUICEHARRIS. Again, that's MICHAELTHEJUICEHARRIS. That's my Michael the Juice Harris. That's my other TikTok altogether. And also you can catch me on Facebook. My Facebook is Mikael Harris, which is MI_CHAEL space HARRIS. That's MI_CHAEL space, excuse me, dang, space HARRIS. Forgive me, y'all. Now, for the full version, those are part 1 and part 2. The full version is on YouTube and X, formerly known as Twitter, YouTube under video. My part 1 and part 2 is under the live, which is the live, but under video, you'll catch me with the full version. Also on Patreon.com, which is X/Twitter as well, but also Patreon.com/LKHYYM. That's Patreon.com/LKHYYM. And also you catch me on Rumble.com/LKHYYM. That's Rumble.com/LKHYYM. Now the platforms that I'm on and the times on the days are, first we'll start with Sunday night after Sunday, which is at 9 p.m. that night after Sunday. We're here at 9 p.m. and it's called Fight Fire with Truth, which is open conversation right here. Open conversation, we can have a contact and talk at that time, which is open conversation. Excuse me. Which is open conversation. And that's Fight Fire with Truth, which is open conversation. And on Mondays or the night after Monday at 9 p.m., because that's 9 p.m. Fight Fire with Truth. And on Mondays is 9 p.m., which is Mikael's Knowledge of Truth. Mikael's Knowledge of Truth on Mondays or night after Monday at 9 p.m. And the night or the evening after Tuesday, we're here at 6 p.m. That's 6 p.m. on Tuesdays evenings, and this is Assembly of the Righteous. Nope. No. That's introductory to solving class of knowledge. Introductory to solving class of knowledge. We're giving information on how to become in your solving capacity, which is your private office. And then pretty soon on Wednesdays, we're going to have that was introductory. We have freedom, um, freedom solving class of knowledge. I'm thinking introductory still there. Freedom solving class of knowledge on Wednesday for those who have gotten through their private office in part on Tuesdays. Once you come through that, then we have, I call this the gates of heaven, because now you're free and you're learning more information on how to stand in this system. So that'll be on Wednesdays whenever we start. We haven't started yet because we're getting people through Mondays. So after that, last thing but not least is Assembly of the Righteous on the Sabbath, which is like we are today. Assembly of the Righteous on the Sabbath. And that's at 12 p.m. noon, which is the beginning of the evening. 12 p.m. noon. And right here we do like I did today. Other than that, I thank you for your time, your patience, listening there, and your seeing eye. Appreciate, love you, and also I'll see you again soon. So first we're going to say bye to Zoom, since you're the longest. You have a great and prosperous and lovely day for everybody who's watching. I'll see and talk to you soon. Peace.
Recording stopped.
There we go. All right. All right. Over here. Where we at? Over here on over here, we'll just go in. I like to use YouTube last since I can see the which column on there. Over here on Instagram, I thank you for your time, your patience, your listening there, your seeing that, and don't forget we don't have part one for you because I thought you was recording, and you wasn't. I'm looking at myself, but I didn't see that the thing had been. I pushed it, but I guess it didn't go through. Other than that, hopefully you got everything, and I'll see you soon. Peace. All righty. Now over here on Facebook, like somebody's here, and whoever you are, I don't see who you may be, but I thank you for coming, and I hope you got some out of the information today. Other than that, I thank you for your time, your patience, your listening there, and your seeing eye. Appreciate, love you, and always. Peace. And over here on YouTube Live, I thank you for your time, your patience, your listening there, and your seeing there. Appreciate, love you, and always. Peace.